Good morning, students. Have you finished your prayer? Thank you. நான் ஒரு நல்ல ஆசிரியர். நான் உங்களுக்கு தாயாகவும் தந்தையாகவும் இருந்து முறையாக அன்போடு கல்வியை போதிப்பேன். நான் ஒரு நல்ல ஆசிரியர். நான் உங்களுக்கு தாயாகவும் தந்தையாகவும் இருந்து முறையாக அன்போடு கல்வியை போதிப்பேன். நான் ஒரு நல்ல ஆசிரியர். நான் உங்களுக்கு தாயாகவும் தந்தையாகவும் இருந்து முறையாக அன்போடு கல்வியை போதிப்பேன். நான் ஒரு நல்ல ஆசிரியர். நான் உங்களுக்கு தாயாகவும் தந்தையாகவும் இருந்து முறையாக அன்போடு கல்வியை போதிப்பேன். Okay, students, take your social science book. Now come to the very first lesson in history. Evolution of humans and society, prehistoric period. So what do you mean by evolution of humans? So evolution of human means gradual process by which the present day, that is modern human, arose from the earliest ancestors. So that is the evolution of humans from prehistoric period. So humans, we came from apes, that is the monkeys. So how the monkeys gradually emerged as humans. So you will learn about that in this lesson. Prehistoric period means, so historic period means they have written evidence. So prehistoric period means there is no written evidence. So it was analyzed just by analyzing the things used by human beings. Okay, so let us move into the lesson. So humans evolved from apes. Okay, so there are several species of apes that emerged into human beings. So we didn't came from a single species of ape, that is monkey. So there are several species that evolved into a modern human being. So we will see about them detailedly in this lesson. So humans evolved from apes. Okay, so there are several species of apes that emerged into human beings. So we didn't came from a single species of ape, that is monkey. So there are several species that evolved into a modern human being. So we will see about them detailedly in this lesson. So learning objectives. So what are you going to learn from this lesson? So first, to trace the world's early history. So early history means, so when was the earth formed, when was living beings came into existence, then who showed interest in learning the world history, that and all you will learn. So that is before ancient period. So what happened in the world? So in the prehistoric period, so what was happened in the world, you will learn in this lesson. Then to understand human evolution, so how human beings emerged as a supreme power in world. So among various organisms in the world, humans are superior when compared to other living organisms. So how human evolved in this world. Then finally about to know the prehistoric Tamilagam up to the Iron Age. So what happened in Tamil Nadu? So is there any evidence of prehistoric period in Tamil Nadu? You will learn about that also. Introduction. So age of information technology. So we are living in the age of information technology. That is the mobile phones now we are handling. So have literally put the world on our fingertips. So whatever the news you want, you can get from your phone. So initially, if anyone want any information, means they have to visit that place or they have to contact anyone. But nowadays not like that. So if you want any information, means so just you use your phone and gather information. So we are living in the age of information technology. So the all-encompassing knowledge that we possess now, which has helped in the development of powerful technology, did not emerge all of a sudden. So encompassing means so covering everything. That is knowledge that nowadays covers everything. You can get knowledge about any information. So this type of knowledge was not emerged within a day. So not in a sudden day. So the foundation of our modern life was facilitated. So now we are enjoying the modern life. No, it was made easier by the development of the process of cognition. So cognition means thinking or acquiring knowledge through experience or through senses. So cognition means so the process of acquiring knowledge and understanding through thought, experience and other senses. That is acquiring knowledge through your experience. Yeah, so our modern technology was not emerged in a sudden day. Yeah, so it was not emerged within a day. So it was made easier by our prehistoric human beings only. So the prehistoric human beings were pioneers of creative knowledge. So pioneers means forerunners. So they were the beginners of this knowledge. Yeah. So they used the several things. So like the artifacts. So artifacts means man-made things. So and they only developed the languages. So when compared to us, they are more intelligent. Yeah, so now we are enjoying the information technology now. So it was not happened suddenly. So it was started by our prehistoric man only. So they only laid the foundation for our modern life. So origin of the earth and the geological ages. So geology means, so the study of science deals with the physical structure and substance of the earth. Yeah, so the science deals with the physical structure and substance of the earth. So earth, so who created the earth? So how was earth formed? So if you think God, no, scientists won't accept it. Yeah, so they says, so earth was not created by God. Yeah, so they told some theories. Yeah, so the history of humans closely related to the history of the earth. So they thought, so if you study the history of humans, you can analyze the history of earth. Yeah, so the earth contains geological, archaeological and biological records of historical times. So earth contains historical records. So maybe geological records, that is, it may be a rock, it may be a sediment. Yeah, then archaeological. So do you know archaeology? Yeah, so archaeology means the things used by human beings or the things existed in ancient period, so became a fossil or became a sediment and deposited in the earth layer. Yeah, so archaeologists study that things and gave us a detailed information about them. So that is called as archaeology. Biological record means, so some of the species or some of the living organisms were turned into a rock surface or it was embedded in the earth surface like a rock. Yeah, so historians or geologists or archaeologists study those biological records and gave us detailed information about our past history. Yeah, so these upper layers consist of information. So the upper layers consist of historical information and thus provide us a variety of information about the origin of earth. So paleoanthropologists and archaeologists excavate the soil and rock layers on the earth and extract evidence about human ancestors. So paleoanthropologists and archaeologists, so they dig away the soil and rock layers and extract evidence about human ancestors. So these layers and the fossils are scientifically dated to study the various stages in human evolution and prehistory. So the paleoanthropologist and archaeologist collect some evidence about human ancestors. So that is, they collect the fossils or the substance and they scientifically dated them to study the various stages in human evolution and prehistory. So through the gathered evidence, they attempt to understand the evolution of human history and development in chronological order. So the things they got, the evidence they got, so helped the paleoanthropologist and archaeologist to understand the emergence of human history and development in a proper order. So what was the difference between paleoanthropologist and archaeologist? Yeah, so paleoanthropology, so they, what will they do means, so they study about the human ancestors and their evolution by the study of fossil remains. So that is, paleoanthropologist deals with the evolution of human beings through the fossil they got. Yeah. So archaeologist means, so they study about human past through the materials they used. So paleoanthropologist so deals directly with the human ancestors. So directly collecting the bones or fossil bones of the human ancestors and gather information about them. But archaeologists, so what they do means, they collect information about the materials used by the human beings, that is prehistoric human beings. So that was the difference. So both combined together their work and gave us detailed information about the humans and also the things used by them. So paleoanthropologists and archaeologists excavate the soil and rock layers on the earth and extract evidence about human ancestors. So paleoanthropologists and archaeologists, so they dig away the soil and rock layers and exact evidence about human ancestors. So these layers and the fossils are scientifically dated to study the various stages in human evolution and prehistoric. So the paleoanthropologist and archaeologist collect some evidence about human ancestors. So that is, they collect the fossils or the substance, and they scientifically dated them to study the various stages in human evolution and prehistory. So through the gathered evidence, they attempt to understand the evolution of human history and development in chronological order. So the things they got, the evidence they got, so helped the paleoanthropologist and archaeologist to understand the emergence of human history and development in a proper order. So what was the difference between paleoanthropologist and archaeologist? Yeah, so paleoanthropology, so they, what will they do means, so they study about the human ancestors and their evolution by the study of fossil remains. So that is, paleoanthropologist deals with the evolution of human beings through the fossil they got. Yeah. So archaeologist means, so they study about human past through the materials they used. So paleoanthropologist so deals directly with the human ancestors, so directly collecting the bones or fossil bones of the human ancestors and gather information about them. But archaeologists, so what they do means, they collect information about the materials used by the human beings, that is prehistoric human beings. So that was the difference. So both combined together their work and gave us detailed information about the humans and also the things used by them. So when was Earth formed? Yeah, so it was formed approximately 4.54 billion years ago. So as per the scientist, Big Bang theory, so it was a Big Bang, a mass explosion occurs in the universe, so 15 billion years ago, and from that only the stars formed 10 billion years ago, and the sun was formed 5 billion years ago. So our Earth has formed 4.5 billion years ago. So 1 billion years equal to, yeah, 100 crores. 1 billion years equal to 100 crores. Yeah, so Earth was formed 4.54 billion years ago, and after that, so gradually things happened. So gradually there is a condition emerged for the growth of organisms. So later by later, so plants, animals came into being, and thus they laid the foundation for the evolution of humans. Okay, so Australopithecans. So where the apes? So apes means tailless monkey. So from which modern humans evolved? So we came from this species called as Australopithecans. Yeah. So now they are extinct. That is, they were no more. So but they were considered close relatives to human beings. The geological eras. So MYA. So here they mention MYA means million years ago. So 600 to 542 million years ago, it was called as Proterozoic era. That is, primitive multicellular forms, living organisms were formed before 600 million years ago. Then 542 to 251 million years ago, it was called as Paleozoic era. So in this period only fish, reptiles, plants appeared. So plants, so when came to existence means 540 to 251 million years ago. Then Mesozoic era, so it is the period of dinosaurs. Yeah, so have you heard about dinosaurs? Yeah, so it is a large reptile. Yeah, so it has emerged 251 to 66 million years ago. Then the fourth stage is Xenozoic era. Yeah, so 65 million years ago. So Australopithecans, so that is our human ancestors. Yeah, so they were emerged 65 million years ago. So 1 million equal to 10 million. Yeah. So can you tell what is the difference between archaeology and paleoanthropology? Yeah, very good. So archaeology means, so they deal with the materials used by the humans, so prehistoric humans. So paleoanthropology means, so they deal with the human, so prehistoric human ancestors, so the fossils of the prehistoric humans. Human inquiries into the past and origin of the world. So among different species in the world, so humans only begin to ask questions and inquire about the past and origin of the world. So first, the age of speculation. So speculation means what? So speculation means believing things or forming a theory without a strong evidence. So forming a theory without common evidence or without an evidence. So humans, among the living species, so he only concerned with the understanding, explaining the world and the universe. So can you ask any animal to explain about the world or universe? So can a monkey or a goat or a dog can explain about the world? No, only humans only can explain the world. So because he have the capacity. So the course of evolution. So humans became conscious and knowledgeable. So day by day, so humans' knowledge was increasing. Yeah. So he gathered his knowledge through his experience. So he turned curious. So he turned very interested and began to think and ask questions about nature, organisms, and the world. So day by day, so humans got knowledge and they ask questions about nature, organisms, and the world. So first, humans considered nature was created by God. So God only created this world. So at first they considered nature as a god. So they worshipped sun, moon, and various natural forces about which they developed their own understanding, some of which is not scientific. So first they believe the earth was created by God, but it was not scientific because there is a lack of scientific knowledge. So knowledge was not developed, scientific knowledge was not developed, and this type of thinking was reflected in their ancient writings and religious literature. So if you see the ancient works, you can find that God only created the world. So this type of thinking was embedded in human mind. Then scientific foundation of geology, biology, and archaeology. So who laid the foundation for geology, biology, and archaeology? So first, the beginning of history writing can be traced to ancient Greece. That is, Greeks only began to write history. Okay, so Herodotus, so he was called as father of history. So why means, so because he only wrote history based on humanistic and rationalistic feelings. So humanistic means, so he gave importance to humans rather than God or any other superior power. Yeah. So rationalism means, so believing things by seeing or by getting evidence. Yeah. So rationalism means, so believing things only after getting proper knowledge. Yeah. So give importance to humans rather than superior creatures. Then development of stratigraphy, geology. So stratigraphy means, so studying the origin, nature, and relationship of rock and soil layers. So that is how rocks were formed. So studying those things are called as stratigraphy. Then geology, then Darwin's theory of biological evolution. So Darwin, Charles Darwin, so he only told about theory of biological evolution. Then discovery of our artifacts and fossils. Then ability to decipher early script, that is ability to study the early scripts. So museum, what do you mean by museum? What you can see in a museum? Yeah, so you can see the oldest things. So the fossils and the very oldest things were exhibition, were collected and shown in and preserved in or placed in museum. Yeah. So which one is the oldest museum? Yeah. So this picture. So this is Enigaldi Nanna Museum. It was in Mesopotamia. Yeah, so this museum was established in 530 BC. So Mesopotamia means it includes present-day Iran, Iraq countries. Okay. So the princess Enigaldi was the daughter of the Neo-Babylonian king Nabonidus. So Neo-Babylonian means, so in Babylonia, so there was the empire called as Chaldean Empire. So it was called as the second Babylonian Empire. Yeah, so the king of that empire, so Nabonidus, she established a museum in the name of her daughter Enigaldi. Yeah, so that was the oldest museum, but it was no more. So just its remaining was there. So this picture shows the remaining of the Enigaldi museum in Mesopotamia. Then which is the oldest museum still exists? Yeah, these two pictures. So one is Capitoline Museum and another one is Ashmolean Museum. So Capitoline Museum was in Italy. It was the oldest surviving museum. So it was the oldest museum. So till active now. So it was established in the year 1471 AD. And another one, Ashmolean Museum. So it was at Oxford University, and it was the oldest university museum in the world. So it was established in 1677 AD. So Capitol Museum was the oldest surviving museum, and Ashmolean Museum was the oldest university museum. So first Capitol Museum was established in 1471 AD. Then Ashmolean Museum was established in 1677 AD. So Herbert Spencer and Charles Darwin. So do you know who were they? Herbert Spencer told about the biological evolution. So that is how living organisms came into existence. So he explained how the living organisms came into existence. Then Charles Darwin. So his famous book, The Origin of Species. That is how the living organisms, the present day living organisms, came from already existed primitive organisms. So like the humans, came from apes. So he only explained that how the ancient living organisms emerged into the present day living organisms. So Herbert Spencer and Charles Darwin, so they contribute a lot to about the evolution of human beings and other living organisms. So Herbert Spencer's biological evolution and Charles Darwin's theory on concept of natural selection and survival of the fittest, so helps the people to understand about human origin. So natural selection and survival of the fittest. So survival of the fittest means the survival of the form that will leave the most copies of itself in successive generation. That means which have quality, which have quality to fit, which have the fit to live only survive in this earth. So the living creature, which will have the capacity to survive in the earth will live. Will live in this earth. So that is called as survival of the fittest. So natural selection means the process by which organisms that are better adapted to the environment would survive and produce more offsprings. That means the living creature which is better adapted to environment will live in this world and produce their offspring. That is, he says that which have quality, which have the capacity only live in this world and produce their offsprings. So others will be eliminated naturally. So this was the theory of Charles Darwin. So he published his books Origin of Species in 1859 and The Descent of Man in 1871, and explained about natural selection and survival of the fittest. Okay students, thank you. So if you have any doubt, contact me. So do your homework. Be safe. Thank you.
நாம் வாழும் புவி சுமார் 4.54 பில்லியன் வருடங்களுக்கு முன்பு உருவானது. புவி மிகவும் முக்கியமானது. ஏனென்றால் புவியில் மட்டுமே உயிரினங்கள் வாழ்ந்து வருகின்றன. பெருவெடிப்பின் மூலம் உருவான நம் புவியில் சிறுக சிறுக ஒரு சில உயிர்கள் தோன்றியது. பிறகு விலங்குகளும் தாவரங்களும் தோன்றின. இந்த செல் வளர்ச்சியானது மனித இனம் தோன்றுவதற்கு அடித்தளமாக அமைந்தது. நீண்ட காலத்தை கொண்ட பூமியின் வரலாற்றை பல சகாப்தங்களாக புவியியல் வல்லுநர்கள் பிரித்துள்ளனர். சுமார் 3.5 மில்லியன் வருடங்களுக்கு முன் மனிதனின் கால் தடம் கிழக்கு ஆப்பிரிக்காவில் உள்ள தான்சேனியா என்ற இடத்தில் கண்டுபிடிக்கப்பட்டது. இதில்தான் மனிதனின் ஆரம்ப வரவு வந்திருக்கலாம் என மானுடவியலாளர்கள் கருதுகிறார்கள். சுமார் 600 முதல் 542 மில்லியன் ஆண்டுகளுக்கு முன்பு புரோட்ராசோயிக் சகாப்தத்தில் ஆரம்பகால பல செல்கள் கொண்ட உயிரினம் வாழ்ந்துள்ளது. பேலியோசோயிக் சகாப்தம் 542 முதல் 251 மில்லியன் ஆண்டுகள். இந்த காலகட்டத்தில் தான் மீன், ஊர்வன மற்றும் தாவரங்களும் தோன்றியுள்ளது. மீசோசோயிக் சகாப்தம் 251 முதல் 66 மில்லியன் ஆண்டுகள். இந்த காலகட்டத்தில் டைனோசர் போன்ற பெரிய உயிரினம் வாழ்ந்து வந்துள்ளது. ஆஸ்ட்ராலோபித்தசைன் தென்பகுதியின் மனித குரங்கு செனோசோயிக் சகாப்தத்தில் தோன்றியுள்ளது. இது சுமார் 65 மில்லியன் ஆண்டுகளுக்கு முற்பட்டதாகும். இவைகள் மனிதனுக்கு நெருங்கிய உறவினர்களாக கருதப்படுகிறது.